Hi guys, it's SimLicy here, so welcome to another speed build. So today I am building another family home, and this time I am building in Del Sol Valley, which I'm pretty excited about because I actually have not built here in a really long time, like maybe even a year or more. I don't even know, really. It's been a long time. So I am happy to be building in this world. And in case you guys didn't know, this is the world that came with the Get Famous expansion pack. And it's sort of like an LA based world, which I was really wanting for a very long time and was so excited to see it coming in the game. And then it's just not what I had expected. And so I feel like that's why I never build here, because it is a cool world. I like this neighborhood, especially because it's very like realistic, and that's what I wanted to go for this build. So it was like perfect. It just feels like a real sort of like I guess you wouldn't call it a suburban area, because it's definitely not completely suburban, even though there's definitely family homes, but in the distance you can see more like commercial sized buildings and like hotels and stuff like that. So it's still very much in the city, but I like just like the overall appearance of it and the feel here. I think it's just a really cool neighborhood. So yeah, when I was thinking of the build that I wanted to do and I kind of thought of it, I definitely thought of this neighborhood. And this particular lot too, I actually really like. It's way too big though. It's like 3 times as big as it needs to be for a realistic size home in, I think, this sort of neighborhood, or even in like an LA based neighborhood. So I decided just to build on a very small portion of it and then fill in the rest of the lot with live edit objects homes that were from this expansion pack. So it blended into the neighborhood and tried to make it feel like it was more nestled into the environment rather than just like this giant house that makes no sense. I also think this particular lot is good for community lots. I built a hotel here once and I thought it was like the perfect fit. I felt like it just made so much sense. So if you guys have never seen that speed build, I highly recommend that you check it out. I'll try to remember to link it in like an icon or somewhere that you guys can find it really easily. So hopefully I remember, but yeah, as you can see, the shape of it's coming together. I really wanted it to feel like one of those LA homes. I mean, I've spent some time in LA. I used to live like an hour and a half away from there, and I lived there for a really long time. So I used to go to LA quite often, just to go to the beach or go to museums or just to go explore, just because it's a really cool city. And of course it's a pretty well-known city. But yeah, I just tried to build things that I've at least seen in other places in California and that kind of reminded me of Los Angeles. And of course I was looking at Pinterest, but mostly I was just trying to build off of my own like memory and experiences and stuff like that. So hopefully you guys do like the house. I was really trying to make it feel just like a regular family lives here. Like they don't have the most perfect furniture, the most expensive furniture, or like matching sets, or everything is just in the most perfect place. So I really tried to give it that feel, and I just absolutely love decorating that way. And when I was building it, I was really trying to picture the family that lives here. And once I was like building it and like putting in decorations, I could really see it being like a home for a single dad. And that wasn't my original plan, because I actually did a single dad build recently, and so I try not to be too repetitive, but I could just picture the family, and so I'm gonna go with it. So I just imagined that it was for a single dad, his teen, and his child. And for their personalities, I think the child is very much into robotics, and so I put some decorations that kind of relate to that, and then like some science-y related decorations and like space decorations and stuff, because I think those all go along the same lines. And I think this kid is just dreaming about high school. They want to be part of like what is the like computer club or something like that, and then they really want to go to Foxbury and go study robotics and become like an engineer or something like that. And so this kid is way smarter, I think, than anybody else in the family, way smarter than the teen or the dad. And so yeah, they're just very ambitious and intelligent and stuff. So I thought that was kind of fun, and I pretty much just tried to decorate it like a regular kids room with lots of posters and decorations, and tried to make it feel a little bit messy and imperfect and just the way I like to decorate kids' rooms. So that was super fun. And then for the teen, I was trying to do more of just like a general teens room, because I've done a lot of teenager rooms recently that are heavily themed. And so I tried to give more just like generic posters and decorations and just sort of, I don't know, a base to work off of, basically. So if you have a particular teen in mind that would work for this family, then you could easily just add things or change swatches pretty simply to maybe suit your teenager a little bit more. But I was kind of thinking of the character that Christina Ricci plays in the movie Now and Then. Do you guys remember that movie? It's one of my absolute favorite movies ever, especially when I was younger. I used to watch it a lot, and it's just such a good one, and I watched it maybe like a few years ago, and it's still so good. So if you guys have never seen that movie, I highly recommend you check it out. The characters and like the story and stuff, it's just such a cute movie. So yeah, I was thinking of that particular character, and if you guys aren't familiar, she's more of like a tomboy. She like tapes her boobs down. She's more rough with like the guys, and she has brothers, and she's kind of a bit angry but really soft and sweet at the same time. She's just a really nice character, and I've always just really liked that particular character in that movie. And so I think the teen in this house is very much like her, maybe a little bit more girly, just because I added more like makeup and stuff around, and that character is definitely not into makeup. So I don't know. It's easy though to get rid of the makeup if you wanted more of that specific character. So I was thinking more of like maybe a hybrid between that character and the one that's more into like movies. I'm forgetting that actress's name, but she has like blonde hair and she's super cute. I really like that actress a lot. I like all the actresses in that movie though. It's just such a good movie. Watch it if you guys have never seen it. So yeah, I was thinking maybe of like a hybrid of a couple of those characters or something. And I really wanted the teenager to be able to sneak out of the house too. So I used the window that came with the high school years expansion pack that you can actually climb in and out of. And so I used that window in combination with some that came from Get Famous. So I think they actually worked well together. I mean, they're not like, they don't match perfectly because the whites aren't exactly the same. Like the base game white is the same white that they used in the high school years window, and it's just a bit more of like a gray, whereas the white window that came with Get Famous is much more of like a true white and like a bright white. But I think they work here in the build, and so hopefully you guys like it. But anyways, as you can see, I'm picking out some live edit objects houses just to fill in the rest of the lot, because this lot is just huge. It's like a 40 by 30, or maybe it's a 40 by 30, right? Is it not? Maybe it's bigger. I don't know. It's a huge lot. And so I was able to fit an entire family home plus two fake homes or prop homes basically. And so I just used other live edit objects just to fill in the space, like these fences, and I also did terrain paint, and I did some landscaping, just pretty minimal landscaping, just enough to sort of like block in the spaces and distract your eye and make it not look so weird or empty. I really wanted it to feel like other Sims live here. And of course, if you really wanted to, you could easily build some other homes on this lot and have like neighbors, and maybe, I think it's a really good idea to build some other homes with teenagers and they could like sneak over to each other's houses. I wish it was more functional to have like multiple families on one lot or multiple community lots on one lot. That is a feature that I would really like to see, and I think I would utilize it a lot in a bunch of different builds, because I probably would have done that on this lot if it was easier for gameplay to have multiple families on one lot, but I just didn't think you guys would really want that for gameplay. Maybe for a speed build it would be more interesting, but I didn't think it was totally necessary. So hopefully you guys don't mind. Hopefully the live edit objects buildings are fine. I actually really like using them because it makes it feel like they're actually more nestled into the world, because they're the same buildings used in the surrounding neighborhood. So it really feels like the home is like more nestled in, if you guys get what I mean by nestled. I just really like the feel that it actually belongs here, because sometimes the lots just stand out and feel a little bit awkward sometimes, like there's like empty spaces surrounding them, especially with some of the more recent worlds. Like there's not even like bushes or trees very close to the lot. It's like very empty, and it makes whatever you build there just feel a little bit more isolated. And so what I love about like the tool mod is you can place landscaping or things close by to make them feel a little bit more nestled, but I really wish the Sims team thought about that when they were creating the worlds and just made them feel just a little bit more cozy. I don't know, I think they did a pretty good job with the Copperdale world that we just got, although my problem with that world is like the lighting. I don't know, I feel like I've been complaining a lot recently. I don't want it to come across that way. It's just things that I would like to see, and then like improvements and things, because I clearly like The Sims. I still play it all the time and build all the time and share it with you guys, so I clearly like it, but of course I would like to see some improvements. But anyways, here I'm moving on to the interior, starting off by decorating the living room. I really like how the front door just leads right into the living room. Often when I build like bigger homes, I have like a whole like entryway with like the staircase, and it leads into, you know, the dining room or the living room, and it just feels a little bit more grand. I felt like this was so much more realistic. Like, I've been in a lot of homes like this, and not as many homes where there's an actual true entryway, because those are just a lot bigger and fancier, and I just haven't spent a lot of time in those types of homes. But walking straight into a living room just makes so much more sense. And so I tried adding like personal clutter around, like laundry and crayons and remotes and controllers and stuff on the coffee table. And I also thought these couches from Base Game were perfect. I've used them a lot recently. I actually, like here in a moment, try to place the couch that came from this one. I really wanted to use this one once I was like decorating, because I thought it would bring in some like more clutter and like color and stuff, but I didn't quite have the space for it, and I didn't want to change too much about like the layout and the way I was decorating it. So I decided just to leave these couches, but I think they would be nice ones to add. I did use the recliner that came from the Werewolves pack. I actually really like that one because it has like the cup holders and the arms, and it has like the patch on the seat. And so it really made me think of like the dad's chair. If you guys had a dad like that, my dad was like that. He had his chair, and nobody sits in his chair. You could sit in it if he wasn't home, but if he was home, you better get out of his chair, basically. I don't know why that is or why that's a dad thing, but my dad was that way, and the seat was very worn, or gets worn. He has to replace them, you know, like every few years, because he sits on the couch or on that particular chair so much. Yeah, I thought the little like patches on the seat just kind of reminded me of like that dad chair. So I thought that was pretty fun and pretty perfect for a single dad build. So yeah, over here I am decorating the bathroom. The bathroom's pretty standard, you know, bathroom items, but I tried to make it feel kind of cozy and realistic. And as I was editing this, I realized I probably should have moved the sink over where the toilet is and moved the toilet where the sink is, because the sink and like the counter's very close to the window, even though I didn't like butt them up next to each other. I don't know, maybe it's kind of more realistic this way because it's just kind of imperfect, but I wasn't going for that when I was decorating it. It was just kind of where I placed things and went with it. But as I was you know, going through the footage and stuff, I was like, maybe I should have done this a little bit differently. But it would be a completely easy fix if you guys did want to move it around just a little bit just to fix it. So it's not that big of a deal, but it is something I kind of noticed. But I do like the bathroom. It feels realistic. I like how none of the towels match. I felt like that was pretty awesome. And something you may notice, I also used a lot of carpet in this build. That was something that I really wanted to use because in my experience, the home that I live in now has like linoleum, or not linoleum, but those like, whatever you call those fake wood floors, vinyl, I guess, or whatever they're called. I'm not exactly sure. So we have those throughout like the whole living area, which is great because it's so easy to clean, and like my dog and my toddler and stuff, it's all so easy to take care of. Upstairs we have carpet, and so it's a little bit harder, but really not that big of a deal. But in like every other home that I've ever lived in has carpet like immediately as you walk in. It might have like a tiny little area of tile or something, and so that's what I did in this build. I actually used a little stone rug to act as like where the tile would be, just in front of the door, so you could like easily take off your shoes or something as you come in. But then there's carpet immediately, carpet in the hallway, and so I felt like that was pretty realistic. And I don't use carpet enough, I feel like, in The Sims, but I don't know, I just like the wood so much better, so that's usually what I go for. But over here is going to be the kitchen. The kitchen was actually a really large kitchen, but thankfully I didn't have like another space to put the dining table, so having the dining table in the center of the kitchen actually took up a lot of space. I also ended up adding like a washer and dryer closet in here. I really have never seen, I feel like in the United States, a washer and dryer in the kitchen. Maybe I have in like a friend's home in like high school, but not very often. It's not super common. Usually there's like a separate laundry space, or you see them in like the garage, or I don't know, somewhere else. But I thought it worked in here, and it was kind of like a nice touch, I thought. But it doesn't function. I did play test it, so I did have to change around a few things, but I did keep them there. I just had to make a few changes before uploading it to the gallery so you guys could actually use them when you downloaded the build. So keep in mind that you won't see it in the screenshots or the speed build, but if you download it, it'll be just a little bit different, so it actually functions. But something you may have noticed, I added one of the robotics things on the kitchen table. I really wanted it to feel like the kid in the house had actively been like tinkering around with a project or working on something and left it out on the table. So I thought that was pretty realistic. And I also used one of the fish plaques and put it above the archway into the kitchen. And I was thinking that it was like one of those old like singing bass plaques. Was it Billy Bass or what? I forget the name exactly. It may have been that, but I'm not sure. And I feel like it was just so popular, or at least there were so many commercials about that singing fish when I was like a lot younger. We never had one in my house, but I have seen them because they were so popular. And so I was thinking it was something like that sort of character above the archway, and just kind of something funny that they had. Here I'm adding some decorations to the refrigerator. I've been doing this a lot recently, just adding some kids art to the refrigerator, and it's just so useful, I think, for adding personality and making it feel like an actual family lives here. I also added some sticky notes that came from Parenthood. That's another easy thing to add to a refrigerator to give some like personality and make it feel like, you know, they left like shopping lists or doctor notes, like reminding that you have a doctor's appointment on Friday or something like that. So I thought that was pretty cool. So I really enjoyed adding that. Over here, I'm going to decorate the dad's bedroom first. I decided to have like sort of an entryway to the bedroom with the closet on one side and the big mirrors on the other, because that made it feel like a 90s house to me, like with the big mirrors. I feel like that was so common, and so I really wanted to have some of those like outdated touches in this home. Like the counters that I used in the kitchen feel very 90s to me, and then those big mirrors and stuff like that. So I thought that was pretty fun. Here in the dad's bedroom, I am using this bed again, and so I'm sorry, I just can't help it. I know I've been kind of repetitive using it, but I really just love this whole furniture set, and it just feels perfect for an adult's bedroom, for a teen's room, for like a kid's room. I like the pattern on the bed and like the color of the wood and like the worn texture on the wood. It's just, I really like it. So I'll probably overuse this whole furniture set, but I think it's so perfect for like a single dad's bedroom, because it looks to me like a furniture set that they would probably go pick out. I don't know, it feels perfect for me. And so this particular swatch works nice. And then yeah, I used some decorations over here on top of the dresser, and then a chair in the corner and some like clothes on the floor and just a few pieces of artwork, nothing too crazy. I really didn't want this house to have any fancy art pieces. Of course, artwork is still like expensive in the game, so it's probably all expensive, but yeah, I just wanted it to have some decorations, but not any fancy artwork. But over here is going to be the kids' room. So this kid is really into robotics, like I said, but I added some other decorations, like some space-related decorations and some other things. I really just wanted it to feel like a kid's room, basically, so it's not perfect. There's clutter everywhere, and there's toys everywhere, and posters, and I basically just wanted it to have a lot of personality, and I think it's super fun. I did put the kids' bed up against this window, so they shouldn't be able to climb through it. The window that's right on the other side of the bed is the one that came from the high school years pack that your Sims can actually climb through. But I think the way I decorated this room, they shouldn't be able to, and I didn't want the kid to be able to sneak out of the house. I wanted it to primarily to be for the teenager. And I also used that same window on the bathroom, so I was thinking maybe they would sneak out of the bathroom sometimes. I don't know why exactly, but maybe they would like, Dad, I'm just going to the bathroom or something, and then they just sneak out the window when they really wanted to go to their friend's house and they were told maybe they weren't allowed to or something. So I think that's kind of a fun idea. But yeah, here I'm decorating the desk. I thought this desk was so fun for this particular kid's room. I loved the colors on it and the pattern and like the shape of it. I just thought it was like perfect for this room, and just has so much personality with the calendar and the bulletin board and stuff on the back of it. But here I'm just adding clutter around, cluttering up the desk. I also added that pillow that came from the Backyard Campers kit and sized it up a little bit. I also used the same pillow again in a different swatch on the teenager's bed, and I think it's the only thing though that I used from that kit. So if you don't have it, don't feel like you're going to be missing out on a lot, because I feel like a lot of people aren't probably buying the kits too much because they're purely just like a little bit of extra stuff. People are primarily probably getting the expansion packs, I would guess. I don't know, let me know if you guys have gotten the kits. I don't know, I would be curious. But yeah, here I'm just adding some like toys and the final few decorations to that room. Here is going to be the teenager's room. So for the teenager's room, I actually used 2 single beds and put them next to each other. I got some comments recently asking why I do this, and maybe I haven't explained it enough for in a while, but I just like the way it looks. It really has no reason other than that. I just think the proportions look a little bit better, and it feels a little bit like a better size for a teenager. The regular like single beds are just 1 tile wide, and they just feel kind of narrow sometimes, and so I like just making them a little bit bigger. And some of the beds I think look nice pushed up against each other, like they don't look too awkward, and there's not any too weird like clipping pieces or anything. I don't know, but it's easy to remove one of them and just have one single bed if you would like to, because it doesn't take up that much more space, but I just think it looks a little better. But yeah, over here I'm placing a desk. I don't end up keeping this one. I actually end up using the bookcase that came from the kids' room stuff, and I use the base game table just to sort of merge it into each other to look more like a built-in sort of like, well, not a built-in, but like one single unit, like a large bookcase and desk put together. And I think it looks really good. I've definitely done this trick a lot, and I just really like the appearance of it. And then other than that, I'm just adding tons of posters around. I have floor clutter, and the floor clutter should be walkable. At first, when the Sims team made it, your Sims could not walk over it, and it made it pretty much not useful at all because you could only place it in very small areas and the Sims would have to walk around it, and it just doesn't work great for floor clutter. So I think it's been fixed with the latest patch, so hopefully it doesn't block anything from being used. But yeah, here I'm just picking out the posters. I added the pillows to the bed, and then I add a few more decorations, and this is pretty much it besides decorating the garage. The garage, I really just wanted it to feel like a regular garage, so I put a broken down car in here. I put a woodworking table, garage related clutter like tires. I put a punching bag in here. I thought maybe the dad's a little bit hot-headed, so he comes in here to blow off some steam sometimes. I think that's kind of nice. That's definitely a trait that your Sims can have, so if you wanted to give him that trait, you definitely could. And then I also put this shelf that came from Strangerville, or came from, yeah, Strangerville. I was thinking the pack had a different name, but yeah, that pack came with this really nice shelf that has like boxes and like gasoline and like rope and, you know, just stuff that you might see in a garage. So it's perfect to put in there. And I just put other decorations that I could find that I thought made sense for just a regular garage, nothing too fancy, just storage and things like that. So yeah, I really like it. Hopefully you guys have liked this build. Hopefully you guys enjoy the screenshots. Thank you guys so much for watching, and please leave any comments or suggestions that you have, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.
Sunsets in Boston, kissing yellow concrete. We watched all of them together until we couldn't go to sleep. Wish it lasted forever, but it faded away. I was wrong, you were right. We couldn't stand tall under the fire. Somewhere I can see the silver lining, but it's so far away. Someone told me about you, said you were moving back. And could I steal you for a moment to pretend there's still something from the past? Wish it lasted forever, but it faded away. I was wrong, you were right. We couldn't stand tall under the fire. Somewhere I can see the silver lining, but it's so far away. I was wrong, you were right. We couldn't stand tall